Today we're going to have a quick look at the lens, at the portrait lens. The typical portrait lens is about 85 millimeters with a large aperture. This one here is a F1.4. That's a kind of copy of the Samyang 85 mils. You can find many copies of that Samyang lens on eBay. Some of them are Bowler, Opteka, Vivitar. This one here is Falcon, and I have found a review of it on internet, and this copy of Samyang here is supposed to be slightly worse, optically slightly worse than Samyang lens, but to be honest with you, the difference is just negligible. You actually wouldn't even see it but it's significantly cheaper because the Samyang lens cost about 350 euros, brand new one. This one and the other brands like Bowler, Opteka, and Vivitar, they are typically cheaper, about 50-70 euros cheaper, which is pretty good, and you actually wouldn't see the difference in between them and Samyang itself. So this one here, it's a Falcon. This one here cost about 280 euros, so it's 70 euros cheaper than Samyang straight away. And also it's a second hand, so I got it for 140 euros, which is half a price of the new one. And that's good, that's in great condition. And we're gonna have a quick look at it. It's a F1.4, which is huge aperture. That's a front element. It's a huge glass. As you can see, it's like a tube. Basically, it's like a tube with two pieces of glass on each side. And I'm gonna take this cap off it as well. I'm gonna show you the aperture. Look at this. It's just huge. The other side of it looks like that. And it's just gigantic. And for example, I'm gonna show you the f3.5 lens, the size of the rare element. Look at the size of this and look at the size of that. This is f1.4 and this is f3.5. Significant difference, isn't it? So it's just huge. It does let much more light in. That's why you have very short exposure times in the poor light condition. But anyway, because of the aperture, it gives you the bokeh, the great bokeh, the background blur. But the depth of field is about extremely shallow, 1.5 inch. So you have to know that it's a manual focus lens. So the focusing is very challenging, especially with DSLRs, because when you have a mirrorless, probably you have a focus picking, which is great for focusing. It makes it very simple then, very easy. But DSLRs, it's not as simple. Just to focus it right, you have to work with focusing points, and then you get focus confirmation. Then it's a bit easier, or just set up the camera to take burst of shots. Good to have a camera which is quick, like 5-10 FPS. It's going to give you much more chances to get the shot in focus. What else about the lens? It's from the aperture is from f1.4 up to the f22, and it's surprisingly sharp and at f1.4, but you have to nail the focus, of course. The aperture clicks very nicely. I'm sure you can hear that. Of course, this is Nikon version. When you put it on the Nikon, on the body, you have to set it up to f22. And then if you have a version like this one with CPU contacts, which is AE, auto exposure, then you're gonna have a metering even on D3000, D5000. So no problem with getting metering with that, with getting correcting metering with this. But the other versions that you can find, and they're gonna be cheaper again, do not have these CPU contacts here, and I think they do not have that AE in the name. So pay attention to it, because if you have an entry-level DSLR, you're not gonna get metering. So it might be pain in the arse, you know. Of course, it doesn't matter for mirrorless and Canons, because Canon does support exposure metering straight away. I don't think it does support the focus confirmation, but there is an exposure metering. So in the next part of this video, I'm gonna have some samples from this lens and from Nikon D3, which is 12 megapixels. But with this lens, it does let a lot of light in, and you do not hit actually high ISOs, and the quality of the picture is pretty good, to be honest with you. What else can I say about this lens? The 8 aperture blades, it's responsible for shape of the out of focus blur. More aperture blades, better kind of shape, especially when you have a lights in the background, and they've been melted, like fall off. The focusing distance for it is about 1 meter. As I said, the focusing is quite challenging, but once you get it right, the result is outstanding. What else? This is for DX. It's a 85 mils. It's gonna give you 125 mils on the DX, on the crop body. So on the cameras like D3000, D5000, D7000, I'm talking about Nikons, on crop sensor Canons and Fuji's and Sony's and Sony crop sensor cameras, is going to give you 127 mils, which is very tight. Probably it's good for a portrait, but I wouldn't say it's good for portraits in indoor, because you have to be quite far from the subject. What else? You're going to find it for actually every camera, because you can get the adapter to adapt it to the mirrorless. You can get it for Nikon, you can get it for Canon. So no problem this way. The aperture f1.4 is about 66% faster than f1.8. The bokeh is better. It's better because the depth of field is so shallow that, as I said, you have a 1.5 inch of the surface in focus, like, so you get nice fall off, like you can get eyes in the focus, but ears of the person that you're photographing, actually, they're gonna be melted, like, you know, which is great because it looks good. You're gonna get great subject isolation. I'm gonna show it to you on the pictures later on. Now that's how it is. That's how it looks. The build quality is impressive. It's made by plastic, but it's actually very hard. This rubber ring, it's not slippery. It's very actually nice. What else? The marks, all of it is in good condition. Oh, it's made in Korea, like just like all of those Samyang lenses, as far as I know. This one does not have the lens hood. The actually seller did not have it. Probably it's good to use the lens hood because it's not flare resistant. But so far I did not get any troubles from it. Now let's get to the pictures. Now, as I said, I'm going to try to show you some samples of the pictures that I took with it. Those are the test pictures. It's nothing unusual, just to show you what is the bokeh blur and how it performs, you know. Pictures been taken with Nikon D3, which is 12 megapixel camera. It's 10 years old now, so you're gonna see some noise in them. Anyway, those are the car keys, and look at this shallow depth of field. It's just very, very shallow. Like that's only at F1.4 fully wide open. It's about 2 inches. Are we gonna try to zoom it in 100%? No. Look at this. It's pretty sharp for the wide open lens with such a huge aperture. Okay, next one. Look at this one. Look at this pillar. I took it at the underground car park, as you know already, and it was pretty dark. And I was focusing on this pillar, and look at the other ones. Look at these ones here. They are completely melted. We're gonna zoom it in at 100%. It makes no sense to go for higher magnification because just 12 megapixels wouldn't be any good. Pictures would look like Lego blocks. Nearly looks like that, but that's the sharpness of it. It was fully open. Good color rendition, I'd say. And that's how it looks. Now this one, some kind of bikes at the same car park as before. Look at the background of it. Even the bike on this bike on the back of it. I was focusing on this one, and it's pretty sharp. Even this valve, the gears and all that, the frame, and all of it in the background it's been melted, and it looks very, very nice. Some magenta here. It was wide open, so it's pretty sharp. Oh, there's some dirt on the frame. It's alright. It's alright. It's like for 12 megapixels. Nice separation, like subject isolation. Now, well, do not turn off your computers. That's only me. Hopefully you're not gonna get any breakdowns because of that. Jesus, I have to cut this hair because it does not look good. But anyway, I'm gonna show you the blur and the depth of field. Look at this. I couldn't get the focus right. Well, my fiance was taking this picture. She couldn't do it. But the eyebrows, that's in focus. A little bit of nose and a little bit of lips. But the ear, look at the difference. That's only a couple of inches. And that's nearly gone. Like, that looks good. If you want to have a lens for portraits, don't be afraid to get this lens. It's manual focus, but when you do the portraits, you think about it. You kind of you're trying to frame your shot and all that, so you're gonna need a little bit more time, but the result of it is just quite good. I'm gonna zoom it in once more to check the other eye. That's out of focus as well. But this ear here, it makes a big difference for portraits, I think. That's a wide open. Actually, the hair, well, it's more like forehead is in focus. Forehead and a little bit of eyebrows. Alright, next one. This one here, it was pretty dark in the room. It's been done from about 2 meters away. Let's zoom it in. 12 megapixels. You will see some noise. Well, it's a Nikon D3. It's 10 years old now, so, but it's still pretty good. It's good enough for me anyway, and for some pros even. So, well, listen, people can do a lot with this camera still. But anyway, it's sharp. Look at this. It's pretty sharp. It was wide open. F1.4. This calendar here, it's been melted nearly. Now, next one. This, well, don't mind this. I do not work for them. This name. Look at this. That's pretty sharp, and that socket on the wall, it's been only 1 meter away. Wow, what happened? It was 1 meter away from this cup, and it's nearly completely gone. The edge of this table was 20 meters away from this cup, and the edge is nearly gone as well. Look, I like it. I like this lens. I like it a lot. Now I was focusing on this mannequin here, and actually focus is there on the ear of it. The other one gets nicely blurred, and the fabric and all that. We're gonna zoom it in 100%. No point go further. Look at this. The sharpness of it is pretty good, and the color rendition looks just nice. Now the subject isolation, look at this. I was focusing on these two mannequins, and all of it in the front of them is just gone. Look at this. We're gonna zoom it in now. It's not tack sharp, no it's not, but it's just good enough. It was very first day with this lens actually. Look, I said that it does have 8 aperture blades, and look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's what it is. You're actually able to check it like. But it gives you the very shallow depth of it. It looks nice. Looks very nice. The subject stands out of the picture. Now this one here, it's been done 3 or 4 meters away from this Santi here, and I was trying to focus on the face of it. No, 100%. Look at this. That's still sharp. That's a 12 megapixels camera, and this glass is pretty good, and it's pretty well priced. And that's the kind of, probably the Christmas tree in the background. It looks good. This bokeh thing is not perfectly circular, but it's good enough, and that's sharp. It's pretty dark because of the spot metering, you know. It's been spot metering has been done on this area, and it was pretty bright, this area here, but the rest of it is pretty dark. But I wouldn't actually change it. It looks alright this way. Now the color one, the color rendition is pretty good. This picture was it's been taken at least 10 meters away. It was quite far away. Okay, let's zoom it in. Now, the nice color rendition. Chromatic aberrations. Look. Again, chromatic aberrations, but listen, it's been wide open here as well, but look, you can see the fabrics here. And mummy drift. Alright. And it's been done at F1.4, and it's sharp, like it's a 12 megapixel picture. Of course it's a JPEG. Like. This one here, it's been quite dark, 100%. That's quite sharp. Now next one, this one here, I was trying to focus it on this one here, on that. Let's zoom it in 100%, and that's how it is. So the lens itself is sharp. Well, you have some noise here, look, but its background is just melted. It's gone. I wonder what ISO was it? Nah, ISO 2500. Listen, that's quite a lot for 10 years old camera, but it doesn't look that bad. And when you're not gonna zoom it in, it's much better. And subject isolation is very good. Nice. Sharpness is great. I like it. I think that's it. No, one more. As a shirt, and look at this depth of field, 2 inches. It's very shallow. Let's try to zoom it in. A nice color rendition. These are the fabrics. and it's a 12 megapixels, and everything in the background is just gone, and that background was about 1.5 meters away, which is pretty good. Oh, that's the last one, scones, which I had with my fiance recently. Look at this, everything on the table is completely melted, and that's the way it should be. Large aperture. We're gonna try to zoom it in 100% to check the sharpness. Look, oh, it looks pretty good. 12 megapixels, but it does the job. As you can see, it's pretty sharp, wide open. So, Samyang Bowler Opteka Falcon, all of it is the same. And if you're gonna get it in the good price, up to the $200, it's gonna be highly recommended. Very good for portrait, and do not afraid the manual focusing lens, because it's well worth it. It's gonna make you a better photographer, I think. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.